Joe, you're Javi today. So
all right, well, welcome back to the Next Goal Wins podcast, ladies and gentlemen.
That's not how Javi starts. For fuck's sake, Joe, get it together. He claps 3 times.
Shut.
No, I don't.
What are you talking about?
I used to do that.
What are you talking about?
Just to sync the audio.
All right. Let's behave, you two.
Listen,
If you can't tell, we fired Javi, and
Just
I am
here so I
now
don't get
leading
fined.
the show here. No, Javi has lost his voice. He was in Florida over the weekend, yelling at his teams and screaming so loud he now can barely talk. So
Yep.
I'm here to lead us today, so it's going to be a disaster, but stay with us. It's going to be fun. I've got our pre-cap. Obviously, we have the one and only Javi.
Stats are looking good.
Yeah, you're the stat man. And then
I'm just me.
And then
I
sitting
like
in
it.
the Dracula corner, Georgie himself.
That is the Dracula corner.
Darwin Nunez supporter,
Of course.
fanboy.
Yes. Oh, I should put this down a little bit.
You good?
Yeah.
Can we start?
You can. Oh no,
All right,
we're going.
cool.
Yeah, I'm just.
All right. So we've got a lot here on the pre-cap. Javi has now.
I'm just here so I don't get fined.
He's now spilled water all over his pants.
That's a great.
Oh,
start.
Good, boys.
my
It's all good.
goodness.
We're good.
That's
Oh
a
my
great
goodness!
start.
Please don't cut any of this out. But I've got the notes here, so let me go through this real quick. In our pre-cap for today, first and foremost, we've got some transfer moves we're going to talk about. Obviously, we're going to talk about the Prem, the EFL Cup, the Super Copa. The semifinals are in process right now, which is pretty exciting. We have our VAR room segment as well. Then lastly, right before the fun facts, we have our wild card segment. So we have a lot to get through. It's going to be a fun, jam-packed segment. Georgie, I would talk to Javi, but I think he's just here for, I would say for
just
looks,
hanging
but
out.
I don't even know.
I'm just here because this is my house. So it's kind of
And he's going to be up till 3 a.m. doing the editing. Georgie, where do you think we should start today?
Oh, whatever you want. You're Javi. You take control of this. This is all you. I'm just here. I'm in my corner. I'm just chilling.
Joe, you absolutely have to nail this because if not, you're going to get torn apart in the comments.
Hey, I always get torn apart in the comments anyways. The good news is I don't read them, just so you all know. But my wife likes to read them to me and let me know how much I suck. So that's cool. And she very much enjoys it. But you know what? Let's start at the top here because Mbappe to Liverpool.
Oh,
It's
that's
all
in
over
there?
social media.
Yeah.
All over social
What
media.
are the actual chances of that, Georgie?
Ooh.
0.
Really?
I mean, there's interest. Liverpool have been interested since the Monaco days, and they've kept in contact. Jurgen Klopp is obviously admired, but who isn't? But I don't know. No, I don't. He's gonna go to Real Madrid. That's his.
Okay, so let's say Real Madrid falls through for whatever reason.
Then that's a different story.
Is Liverpool number 2?
I would say Liverpool's number 2. I can see why Liverpool's number 2.
This man just went from 0 chance to
Zero
Liverpool.
chance.
being-
Well, he's the second. It's the best second chance
It's,
possible.
I think for Mbappe is like Real Madrid is 1,000% the number 1 destination. So like no, he's not even. I don't think there's even a consideration of him even thinking of like second option.
You think there's any chance though, like, because Mbappe obviously, I don't want to say that he didn't like playing with Messi because everyone likes playing with Messi. Mbappe's come out and said he liked playing with Messi, but with Messi, Neymar, and him there was when he really wanted out. Any chance you think he doesn't really want to go there, especially with Jude doing what Jude's doing now and him wanting to go somewhere where he could be the star? I actually think when I saw it, my heart dropped because I was like, damn, I actually think this could happen.
You think that?
I think it could happen.
You think
because
he can go to Liverpool?
yeah, I could see them. I could see Liverpool at this point. Like, if you're ever going to cash in on Mohamed Salah, when are you going to do it? Now is the time. Like, every year you're running out of time, right? Like, at one of these years, I think there's going to be a pretty stiff drop off. Why not? If you're going to cash in on him, send him to Saudi.
But
You now have the money for it. He likes
Wait.
your coach. He wants to go to the Prem at some point.
But the Mbappe thing, the rumors are he goes under free. It's not a transfer.
Well-
PSG are never going to sell, right?
Well,
This
nope.
is a free.
No, PSG have to sell.
Yeah, so the way it sounds like is that because PSG, the president of PSG keeps saying that there's a gentleman's agreement between him and Kylian, that they're going to figure it out. That I think he's going to want the money. So
I just don't know when his contract runs out.
Yeah, but they've said the president of PSG has said that there's no chance that they're letting him leave for free.
So it's either okay, but then that means if his contract runs out this year, 2024, in the summer, they have to cash in January. Or unless it's 2025, then that's why I don't know.
I don't know when his contract runs out, but
It sounds like from the president at least that there's no chance he'll ever leave on a free, and they're going to get a lot of money for who he believes is the best player in the world, which I think there's absolutely that argument can be made very easily. So when I saw it, I was very disappointed because I think it'd be great for the Prem. Selfishly, obviously, I'd love him to come to Arsenal, but
would you?
Yeah. What? Yes. Why wouldn't I?
I don't know.
I actually think Arsenal. One of the things we're lacking right now is more depth at the wing position to force Martinelli and Saka to improve. But we'll get to that later on.
Let me actually interrupt you guys there because there's an interesting stat. Jared Bowen, West Ham.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I got this picture sent. No, I think I saved it. So, Jared Bowen has more goals than the front three combined for Arsenal. This season.
Oh, yeah.
So, 10 goals scored by Saka, Martinelli, and Gabriel Jesus, and 11 goals scored by Jared Bowen this year.
Yeah. Wait, that's overall. That's not just Prem. Or is that just Prem? Not that it really matters, but
just Prem, I think.
League goals.
League goals, yeah.
Okay, so just Prem. Yeah.
Would you want Mbappe?
Okay. Instead of Salah, then, like, is that what? I mean, it would have to be.
Just in general,
Liverpool don't have them. It's tough. It's so tough. If we're talking about getting rid of Salah, in a way, yes, it makes sense of Liverpool cashing in an older player to bring in a superstar,
a young one, too.
A young one that will be there for the next foreseeable future, and obviously a World Cup winner and all that. One of the best players in the world. And when you put it that way, yeah, it sounds great. But, like, I don't know. I don't know. It's tough because Salah's putting up the numbers still.
It's a hard thing. But at some point, you have to cash in when it's high because you don't want to wait for him to start declining and then try and sell. You know.
Yeah.
That the other thing that has me thinking that it would happen too is Klopp always said when he does leave Liverpool, he wants to leave it in like great standing. That think about it, if you bring in Mbappe, that if you look at all the players that he's brought in are all young, that he could build it, set up a good core of young players between Darwin, between Diaz, between Szoboszlai, between Mbappe. Van Dijk, obviously, he's not young, but he'll be there and be a top-tier center back for a good period of time. Klopp stays for a year or two with Mbappe, tries to win another Champions League, sails off into the sunset with an amazing squad that he's leaving to the next person. And then at that point, I could see Mbappe at then the prime of his career saying, you know where I want to go now? Let's go to Real Madrid. We'll do it all. He would have gone to France, England, Spain, build a great career, win in multiple places. So I hope it doesn't happen.
I don't see it happening. I really don't.
I hope you're right.
There's like 2% chance that I'd see it, if that. It's not even like I'm not like I've seen the rumors. Social media is full of it. Liverpool and Mbappe have been doing this every single January and summer transfer window for the past 5 years.
But didn't he say that he likes Liverpool?
Yeah, or supposedly his dad mentioned that he's a big Liverpool fan,
or he likes Klopp,
or he likes Klopp, and he likes like the Anfield crowd and all that, and like how Liverpool overall is presented and all that. But I like a lot of teams, so
transitioning from one red team that I hate in England to another red team that I hate in England, Jadon Sancho is now out at Manchester United, back to Dortmund.
Great move.
Great move. Him. United, Dortmund, all the above.
Well, United, that's terrible in terms of you buy a player for what, 80 mil did they buy him? And he did absolutely nothing. It ended terribly.
300-something pounds a week, I think, is what he's on.
So not only that you paid so much money to Borussia Dortmund to buy him, you also paid him a shit ton of money weekly.
To not even
train
really, with the first team.
Yeah, train with the first team, but not even like, the year and a half that he was there, there was nothing that he did. Like, it wasn't like...
It's not true. He did sit Virgil van Dijk down.
if that's the top of the top, then... But for him personally, I think it's a great move. And what I see happening is he's just gonna ball out and
back to what he was.
Borussia Dortmund. He's gonna feel confident. He's gonna feel loved. The fans like him there.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's gonna fit in great. And then Man United are gonna be back and be like, oh, well, this is the player we want. And there's just gonna be a whole cycle of terrible moves by Man United again. So
I'm curious to see how much of his wages Dortmund would pay. Like, I wonder what the agreement is, because if he is on wages that high, I wonder if Dortmund will pay half of his wages, his whole wages, at least half, I would assume.
yeah, there's no way Borussia Dortmund will spend 300 plus.
So you're saying then United has to pick up the rest of the bill, or he has to agree to take less? Do you think
No, he can't. He can't agree. There's no way he can agree. That's his contract. They're just taking that contract to Borussia Dortmund because it's a loan, right?
Yeah.
It's a loan deal. So whatever his contract
So
is, that's set.
his wages are getting paid. Typically, when they do the loan deals, it's like Borussia Dortmund will tell Manchester United will pay for 75% of his wages.
Yeah.
That's fair. Okay.
The benefit is he's getting playing time with us because he's not going to get it with you. We're going to pay most of his salary, but you have to pay the other half or whatever the other third.
I would say there's a 0% chance Borussia Dortmund pays 100% of the.
Yeah.
I mean,
United's hoping he goes there, balls out, and then they have a chance to potentially sell him
Yeah.
and at least get some of their money back, I would assume. Like
That's-
that's their out of this financial debacle.
And I wonder if they put in
option to buy.
an option to buy, or sometimes you can force them to buy.
Yeah. I don't think there would be an obligation just because. I mean, there might be. I have no idea.
It just depends on
I didn't look at
appearances,
Fabricio's.
stats, things, those kinds of things.
Yeah.
If he performs at a certain level or plays a certain amount, they have to. If they put that in the contract, the obligation.
I really think I think he's going to do really well at
I
Borussia
think so
Dortmund.
too. I was listening to one of our fellow podcasters. You might know him, Rio Ferdinand. He was talking about. And he brought up a great point, saying that like he's just him coming back to England was a distraction for him. Friends here, family here. That when he was in Germany, he had one thing only, and that was football. So I for the few games he did play, he was exciting to watch in the Prem. I did like him, and it is disappointing we haven't seen him. Great player sitting on the bench, or not even on the bench, just sitting at home every weekend doing nothing.
I bought his signature boots, man, and then the value just went down. It's crazy.
You have a tendency of doing that. Buying stuff in the value just keeps going down.
Value goes up almost.
We have a lot of transfers for teams I don't enjoy. To another one, Tottenham. Timo Werner, Champions League winner,
I forget
decided to go.
that. Forgot he won the Champions League.
I saw a thing. I was talking about the front three of that team: Timo Werner, Kai Havertz, and Mason Mount.
Yeah,
Funny how that ages, huh?
It's crazy.
What do you guys think of him coming to the one and only Tottenham?
I think it's a great move for everyone. Son is out for the Asian Cup, so there's an extra spot for
Like
somebody
he'll
to
get
fill
immediate
in.
playing time.
And look, something about Timo Werner that a lot of people can talk about, his finishing. He wasn't great at Chelsea. But that's like, for me, when I watch Spurs play now, they have this style of the counterattack, the like quick movements and all that. I think he fits in perfect with that.
I'd agree.
In terms of like the style.
Yeah.
And I think if there's gonna be a coach that can get his confidence back and everything else, I think Big Ange is the perfect person to do so. And it's a loan. I do think there's an option to buy of like 15 to 20 mil from what I read, which is nothing these days. So imagine it works out and he scores, I don't know, for the next few months, he scores, I don't know, 5 to 8 goals. 15 million is nothing in the long run.
Yeah.
So if he can integrate him within the Spurs team that's already playing really good style of football, I don't see a problem. And another thing is, again, stats don't say it all, because he can fit in and make the runs, create space for everybody else, and maybe do the dirty work, whatever. But it will still fit in within the Spurs team. So I think it's a good move for both.
Yeah, I'd agree. I mean, I think I'd agree with you on pretty much everything you said. And the other thing I guess I'd add to it is you're getting a player who has played in the Prem before, so you don't have to have that normal like feeling out period with a lot of players. When they come from France or Germany, where the speed of it and the physicality they struggle with. I think he can do well. I like him. I do. I don't like Tottenham, but I do like him. What about you?
He's shite.
Darth Vader over there.
I mean, he's not bad, but like he's not going to be anything special. You know what he's going to give you. I mean, he's already done it in the Premier League once. Like, yeah, he won a Champions League, but if you look at his stats weren't great when he was here, right?
Yeah.
So it's like it's probably a pretty good signing, like Georgie said, because of Son leaving. But it's not a superstar. It's just a guy who's going to fill in, get some pretty decent stats, probably help you for the time being.
You think once Son's back, he's back on the bench and not seeing the field unless there's another injury.
What's his name is playing well now?
Richarlison.
Yep.
So these are the stats. So they do have an option to buy, and in the Premier League for Chelsea between 2020 and 2022, 89 appearances and 23 goals. So every third game he gets you a goal. Ish.
It's better than Darwin.
Actually, one not even that, but. Again, I don't know. Like for the amount of money, option is 15 to 20 mil. That's included in the deal. So again, he scores you 5 to 8 goals in the 18 remaining games. I mean, that's
what I'm saying. Like you kind of know what you're going to get out of him. It's not great. It's not terrible, but it probably helps you in the situation right now that you're in.
Yeah.
You guys think 15 to 20 mil for a goal every 3 games? Like, do you think that's something that happens?
I would
15 to 20 mil.
Let's do it.
You pay that for people that I've never heard of.
Yeah.
Especially
in today's market, yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah.
This is one. I think this could go down as like one of the
like a great steal.
A great steal that nobody's like really talking about.
Like Kai Havertz.
Triple that.
Also to Tottenham. Dragusin, am I saying that correctly?
Dragusin, yeah.
The only reason I don't know much about him. The only reason I put that on the precap is because he turned down the opportunity to go to Bayern Munich so that he could join Tottenham.
Yep.
His agent said that he's like, I have no idea why he did it, but
he said they agreed with Spurs first.
Oh yeah, he said the player on principle, right?
Yeah. So he wanted to keep his word to Spurs, so that's why he joined. However,
respect him for that.
I have watched him a decent amount, and obviously he has a man bun. So like he's legit, but I will say this. I watched him the other day, and he was actually really, really impressive. Fair enough, that was the worst Serie A game I've ever watched worst soccer game I've ever watched my whole entire life. It was Bologna against Genoa, and I messaged Javi. I was like, I have never watched a worse game than this.
What was so
Joe,
bad?
Ask him why it was so bad.
Please go on.
It has nothing to do with the actual playing.
No, it was that too. But I bet on the game.
Oh, and this guy's the best.
No,
listen, I should have got. Why I don't. I don't know how I wouldn't have just known that up front.
No, it's not even about like I lost the money, but I expect because Bologna is actually doing pretty good. They're like 5th. They're right behind Fiorentina. They're battling for like getting into the Champions League. So anyway, I expected them to come back. When I tell you, I don't think there were more 3 passes connected the whole entire game for neither team. Like I'm not exaggerating. Like that was the worst game I've ever watched.
But I can't listen to you right now because I'm picturing you pacing in your house. Knowing you have money on this game, being so angry about it, them not completing passes, and you throwing things, you tossing chairs over.
Yeah,
well, cursing
at Javi.
That's why he was so upset.
Javi, this is the worst game ever.
No, I didn't mention that, but my boy Dragusin, he's really good. I really like him as a center back, and I think he does provide. Like right now, they have. He might be coming back from injury soon, or he should be if he's not already. But Romero is one of those players where you're not really sure what you're going to get out of him.
Mm-hmm. Great performance or a red card, potentially anywhere in between.
Exactly. So you have cover. I think he's fairly young as well for center back especially, so the future is bright. I really like him.
Hey, props to Tottenham for making moves early in the window, huh?
Yeah.
What is it now? January 10th, I think?
Yeah.
And they've
Smart.
already they've the 2 positions that they needed to at least get depth in.
Yep.
Serious question.
Done.
Serious question. Does having a man bun make you a better footballer?
Oh, yeah. Without a doubt. It's proven.
I'm just trying to think. Besides Andy Carroll, I can't name another.
Well, Andy Carroll's decent at some point.
Yeah, but Andy Carroll became a joke.
Man bunner?
Huh?
You
That's
can't name
bad.
I can't. No. I can't name another one that I think is bad.
Ooh.
Like think about all the good ones. Right? Virgil van Dijk, Erling Haaland,
Yeah.
Darwin Nunez.
Where do you put him?
But,
Darwin Nunez on the better side of.
But think
He is
about
on the
this.
better side, especially on the upside.
Me, I have short hair. I wasn't good.
And you were
he was
trash.
shite.
I was right, and then all of a sudden I got a man bun.
And now he's less shite, so it's definitely
Now he's dominating the over 30 indoor leagues
Over
in the
30.
Metro Detroit
Hey, I
area.
scored 3 goals.
I did when I was younger. Honestly, before I even met you, but when I was younger, we used to have a joke saying that like if a team that you're playing against has a guy with a ponytail on it, that's their best player. And then the man bun started coming up, and then people started doing the man bun.
It's like a trend. Like best players, that's how you target them now.
Throw it in the comments if you know some players out there that are trash with a man bun.
Yeah.
Please.
That is true.
I'm gonna look
I
for
honestly,
it
that's
now.
a good point. I cannot name anybody in the Premier League, especially.
I mean, also though too, like let's call it what came first. You know, if you're a trash player, you can't have a man bun. Also, you know what I mean? Like you have to have some level of swagger and confidence to you to pull it off. So there's your compliment of the year, Georgie.
I appreciate
You have some swagger and confidence to you.
Unless you
Congratulations.
have the baby hairs growing right here.
Come 2025, I'll give you another compliment.
I appreciate that.
Anything else from the transfer moves that we didn't cover?
I think that's pretty much it for now.
All right.
Okay, wait, before we go. So, Dragusin.
Yeah.
If you're in his position, you say, okay, I'm going, like you and Spurs make the deal in principle, whatever you hold your talks, and you agree to go, and then Bayern Munich comes knocking last second. What do you do?
So I respect him for going with what he said. To me, it comes down to like how did he shake hands and say, yes, I'm coming to Tottenham? Or did he say, hey, thank you for the information. I'm going to go talk to my family and I'll be back. Because if I shake hands with somebody and I look him in their face and I say, hey, I'm excited to come to London. I'm excited to play for you. Man to man, you should follow through with what you say. I was raised that way. My grandpa always said, like, hey, if you say something, follow through with it. So I would have to follow through with it. But if I hadn't fully committed, I'm going to Bayern.
Javi's going to Bayern.
He's going to Bayern no matter what.
No, I'll tell you what.
He's voiding his contract he signed already.
I'll tell you what. When I was in middle school, 7th grade, I had this girlfriend. All right?
Mm-hmm.
Her cousin used to hang out with us all the time. And her cousin liked me. Her cousin was much more attractive than her.
I know.
And what do you think I did, Georgie?
You left the girlfriend and you went for a cousin.
No, I stayed because I made a commitment.
But
I
then
regret that decision.
I knew you were going to say that. I knew you were going to say that. Moral of the story, Dragusin, I'm sorry.
Well, no, look, here's the thing, though. The other thing is that you also have to take into consideration, like, yeah, the being a man of your word is important. However, like, is it that much of a difference to go to Bayern Munich? Because, like, I'm thinking about it from, like, a job opportunity. Like, let's say you apply for a job, you get a good job, and then a job that's way better wants you to take that position or whatever. I'm thinking about it from a standpoint of, like, my family. Like, oh, I'm not going to, like, ghost the first one, but I would go up to him and say, like, I'm sorry I gave you my word, but at the same time, I have a better opportunity that came my way that was unexpected. Yeah. And for the purpose of my future and my family, this makes more sense.
Yeah.
I also think, too, at some point, like, from a if the roles were reversed, right, and it was club to player, what would the club do?
Oh, get rid of you right away. They weren't even care. That was my thought process too.
And that's the thing too. You always have to understand with this is it is a business, and in I don't know, things aren't as old school as they once were. People following through with what they say they're going to do, and that's what you would do. You'd say, I'm going to Bayern.
No, I'd probably go Spurs.
Yeah, but the thing is, as well as like in football, very little is guaranteed, and so much can change. Like Graham Potter.
Yeah.
We know what happened at Chelsea. It didn't work out. However, can you imagine if he doesn't go to Chelsea and he starts, Brighton starts dropping, and then he never gets the opportunity to manage a big club ever again? Mm-hmm. His whole life he's going to be like, man, I should have taken that leap of faith and gone to Chelsea. And so I feel like at least now he's comfortable in knowing, like, I did it, I tried it, it didn't work. I'm going to try and find something else now. Same thing for that. Like, let's say he goes to Tottenham, has a bad spell, and then now he's just completely forgotten, goes to a bunch of other different team, whereas maybe it would have worked out at Bayern Munich. You're never going to know. But you can, It can go both ways, but you can appreciate him for being a man of his word at least.
Yeah.
See, and I guess that for me is the reason why I feel like you should always just stick to what you believe in your core, because at the end of the day, that's all you have left at the end of it all is what is your word, you know.
And it is the Premier League, so
it's not. He's going to a great manager.
Yeah.
Well, I can't say he's going to a
ask Javi. Big Ange's a great manager. But
maybe he likes the way they play when they're man down. You know?
Oh God,
he likes the high line.
He likes
the high line. He's fast. He loves the high line.
By the way, speaking of Big Ange, did you hear the interview of the reporter? Or like
called him out for his integrity?
I don't know about that. Well, about the trophies.
Yeah, that one was great too.
That's funny. He's like, "I've won them, mate. I've won them."
I look at. One thing I liked when he said when the guy's like, "Well, you're lucky that you can look at them." He's like, "I'm not lucky. I earned them." Yeah. And I think I'm so glad that he called the reporter out on that, because I think a lot of times people say like, "Oh, must be nice," and they don't realize the amount of work that all of those guys, from the kit man to the manager and every player, put into their craft. And I think a lot of people on the outside look at it and say, man, that must be nice to make millions of dollars and play on TV and do all this stuff. Yeah, it is. And I've sacrificed countless things for decades of my life to have these small moments of happiness, and they deserve it. I thought you were talking about when they asked him about Dyer's. I saw one about, I think it was Dyer's injury. Yeah. And he's like, "Oh, is he really injured?" And then he got after the reporter. He's like, "Don't you ever question my integrity again."
I did hear about the Dyer situation. Oh, he hates Dyer. I don't know what happened between those two. He does not like Dyer. He's out now. Speaking about transfers, he's gone. I don't even know where he went.
Bayern.
Yeah, he said.
I saw rumors of Bayern.
Wow, that's interesting. So DRAGUSIN, Bayern, like, maybe not Dyer. We want DRAGUSIN. Last second, and then when they said no, they're all right, fine. We'll take Dyer. That's interesting.
Funny how that works. It's like the whole Javi girlfriend cousin story all over again. Switching gears, the Prem, top 4, Liverpool, Villa, City, Arsenal.
I mean, not much has happened, but
who's taking it? Who's taking it home? I've got my prediction, and it's changed.
The biggest question I think is like, does Arsenal have a chance now anymore?
Yeah.
Think
Wait,
so?
what was the point? It's 5 points. That's nothing.
Especially because if Liverpool wasn't down as many players as they're down, Salah being one of them, I'd say no. I actually think Arsenal has a better chance to win the league than Liverpool.
Wow.
Yeah. Because Arsenal have to change. Like, when you actually look at the string of Arsenal's performances, the performances are good. One thing's not happening, and the ball's not going in the back of the net. And obviously, I know that's the hardest thing to do on a football pitch. However, they have money they could potentially spend. They also have the players that can find the back of the net. And they're just not right now.
Do they have those players?
Yeah, I genuinely think that they do. I genuinely do. And
should we just sell our front 3 and get Jared Bowen?
No. I think Saka, I guess I'll use Saka as an example. Every time Saka has been faced with big pieces of adversity in his career, he has found another level. And my hope and my goal is that this is another one of those instances. And my hope is that Martinelli can follow suit in that. And that's why I think that they can string it together and make it happen, because the performances are there and they have the players that can find the goals. It's just going to have to come down to one or two of them getting hot. Because you could also flip the coin and say, if you look at Arsenal, compare this season to last season, would you say that they're better or worse or the same?
Well, 3 weeks ago, you would have said they're better. Or
See, even 3 weeks ago, I would have said that they were worse, because like we're not. Last year, there were games that we won easily. Yes, we left a lot of games late, like Bournemouth. However, I look at what we're doing this season, and I actually think we've dropped down a bit in terms of at least attacking. I think we're defending better. I don't know. I guess I don't have the stats to do it, but I watch every single game. But I think that I do think we can. But that's not the team I think that's going to win.
Oh, so you, despite all that talk.
Oh, but despite all that,
I wouldn't say that we were better. I think I said we were more consistent.
Last year?
No, this year.
This year?
Because remember we talked about like how we didn't think that there was going to be a huge drop off this year, because we felt like we were like, I guess the word is like stable. We were more stable. Whereas last year we were like flying, but you knew that there was going to be a point where we were just going to go downhill. But Then again, we said that, and then
The past
right
few
after that,
weeks.
we haven't been able to get any points.
Since what? Boxing Day was the last time, right? Against Liverpool when it was 0-0 or whatever the
Yeah.
score was.
Well, it's
Or 1-1.
But even with all that, I mean, but again, Arsenal come back. We string a few wins together.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
There's still plenty of time left. That
yeah.
if my hope is, to your point, like we were flying to start this season, and it's one of those things like, you guys ever watched the movie Big Daddy with Adam Sandler? When at the first scene at the birthday party, when Adam Sandler walks into the surprise birthday party, and surprise, surprise, surprise. And like they made the big surprise, and then the actual guy whose birthday it was came in like 20 minutes later, and like no one even cared. It's like you wasted the big surprise on the wrong person. Like Arsenal did that last year. They got in the right form way too early. That now, coming back from this, if we come back this weekend and can string and put some of that form together, like, and that's what I think City does a great job of, and that's why I think City's going to win the league. They've been not playing well. That if they can find their form, it's going to come down to who can be the highest flying team from now till the end of the season. And I'm hoping Arsenal can find our early season form from last year from now till the end. Because think about it, we're sitting 5 points off the top, and our front three have less goals than Jared Bowen. It's not a bad spot to be in, assuming they can find the goals that they found in the past.
Yeah, but we're just hoping though. You know what I mean? Like City, they're going to do it. They did it last year. They've done it before. Arsenal, we're just hoping that they find their form and they start flying.
Yeah. At some point.
It has to click. That's
That's
the hope.
Who do you guys think is going to win the league? You're still on Liverpool, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, the problem is, Endo, I don't think anybody expect him to be such a big miss that obviously how he's performed. So Endo's gone for until Japan gets knocked out.
Mm-hmm.
Salah's gone until Egypt gets knocked out. Top goal scorer in the Premier League, huge miss. Szoboszlai is injured. Trent is injured now for 3 weeks. Those are literally the best players on the team that you look to create
game changers.
Be their game changers. So,
so how many games are you missing all of those guys for total? Let's say.
Premier League wise, it depends on Salah and Endo depends.
Anywhere from like 3 to 8, right?
I don't know about 8. I think it's 8, maybe 8 overall, but I think it's about 3 or 4 in the Premier League.
Okay.
Depending if they go all the way. Szoboszlai hopefully comes back for Bournemouth, which is the next Premier League game for Liverpool. Trent, I think he misses that one. He comes possibly against Chelsea or Arsenal. I don't know.
So does he just have a knock then, Trent?
Trent knee, hyperextending his knee.
That's not a terrible amount of games though.
No, it's not. But at this point, like, it's
a lot of points.
Salah and Endo, they're gonna miss 3 games at least in the Premier League.
But I mean, what I'm thinking is like, okay, let's say they're going to be affected mostly for about 4 games.
Yeah.
If it goes really, really bad in those 4 games and you get like 1 point out of those 4 games, then I think Manchester City is going to win the league.
Yeah.
But I think even if they don't do too bad, even if they can get 2 wins out of those 4 games, I think by the time the other guys come back, you guys are still in pretty good shape.
Because we have Bournemouth, then we have Chelsea, and then we have Arsenal. Something of the sort. All in the Prem. So if we can, I mean, I don't know. There's time. But if Szoboszlai is fine and if Trent is okay, then the hope is better. But Trent is such a huge mess. Trent has been a sensation of the season. So, again, I'm sticking to Liverpool because
my answer is based on how they do in these next 3-4 games. I think if Liverpool can get, let's say, 3 out of the next 4 games wins, I think they'll probably win the league, because then by the time Salah comes back, I think
even with Haaland, Doku, KDB all back now.
Yeah, I mean, I think it'll be tight.
Yeah.
I think it'll go either way, but I'm just saying, like, if Liverpool can prove that they can do that with all these players, by the time they come back, and then how many times do they still have to play each other at least once more, right?
Yeah.
Well, keep in mind too, though, City is they're 5 points back, but they have a game in hand. So City is a win against Liverpool away from being top of the table.
So I'm a huge Newcastle fan this weekend.
Yeah, that's a big game. Honestly, the thing that I also want to say it kind of hurts you, like looking at your guys' fixture list, you might think like, okay, it's great, we're playing Bournemouth, but you're playing Bournemouth away, which is one to win the title. You got to get 3 points there.
Yeah.
It's going to be. It's not an easy place to get 3 points naturally.
Bournemouth has been
especially
really
then when you remove Salah, Trent. It's that's going to be.
Yep.
It's going to be a pivotal game for you guys.
Yeah.
I think City's going to sadly go on a tear, but it all comes down to Ken De Bruyne, Haaland, Doku stay healthy, Rodri stay on the field, but we shall see. Alrighty, EFL Cup. EFL Cup. I don't even want to talk about it. Do you want to talk about it, or just want to skip over it? You want to talk about it?
What was there to talk about? What's going on that year?
If we would have won, Georgie would have been like, nobody cares. It's the EFL Cup.
No. Look, if you're in the semifinal at this point, you might as well go and try.
Well, yeah, because you got Middlesbrough, who's up 1-0
at Chelsea.
And
then so now they play at Chelsea next in the second game, and then Liverpool play at Fulham the second game.
It's crazy because if Middlesbrough holds on, you would say that's a pretty easy game to win. But
first we have to get through Fulham.
Pretty easy game.
First we got to get
right.
And you guys are up, what, 2-1 on aggregate?
2-1, yeah.
But it's a pretty easy game. If you end up playing Chelsea, it's not necessarily a hard game either.
Yeah, but Chelsea's a bit different.
Chelsea's up and down, but their current form is probably the best time for you to want to play them.
Yeah.
That is true. So, like, if you're there, you might as well. But wait. We're not going to skip over the fact that Liverpool are losing 1-0. There's a certain man that comes on the field, Darwin Núñez, 56th minute, gets 2 assists. Liverpool come back and win. You know what?
Was that your Darwin stat? Oh no, here's his phone. Oh gosh.
Listen.
Can we just edit this part out?
Today there will be a Darwin Núñez segment.
Oh, this is.
It's not on the pre-cap.
Look,
Can't have it. No
look,
time.
This is going to be on its own TikTok, and I don't look. If there is somebody in this world right now that says Darwin Núñez is a flop, they have no clue about football. Straight up. I'm going to give you stats. Because look, first of all, I'm not a stat guy. He's the stat guy. no. I care about the play. Obviously, I watch every single Liverpool game. I watch what players do on the field and all that. I know a lot of people in the world these days don't watch games, and they just look at the stat, especially on social media these days, on Twitter. Like, oh, he did this, he didn't do this, whatever. So first, I'm going to go with the man has tremendously flipped from last year. Link-up play, build-up play, within the team, the runs he makes, everything is 1,000% better. It improved in that aspect. But I know, like I said, people love stats. I'm not one of those people, but people love stats. In the Premier League, Darwin Núñez, per 90 minutes, averages 0.89 goals/assists. That is 9th in the Premier League. But wait, he's a flop. Don't worry, he's a flop. Don't worry, he's just a flop. Saka per 90 minutes, I just have random names. Saka per 90 minutes is at 0.65. One of the best players in the Premier League. This is stats. Julian Alvarez, potentially Ballon d'Or winner, right? Like we're talking about, he won World Cup, one of the best players in the city, 0.62 goals or assists per 90 minutes. Son at Spurs is at 0.91. Great. Rasmus from Manchester United, which I have nothing against the guy. He's young, going into a very tough Manchester United team that has no confidence, shambles behind the scenes, whatever. He's at 0.09. The problem I had with all that is one is labeled as a flop, which is Darwin Núñez, and the other one is labeled as unlucky and by the media, unlucky, not in a good team, all that. I'll keep going. I put the stats without penalties in here just because he goes up to 5th. But I'm going to skip that because penalties is part of the game. So, by the way, in the top 10, Cole Palmer has 5 penalties, and that's why he's like above some of these players. Anyway, in the Premier League, goals and assists, he's at 11. 5 goals, 6 assists, ranks him 10th in the Premier League. 6 players are tied on that. But don't worry, Darwin Núñez is a flop. 8 players ahead of him have taken penalties. So, whatever. We'll skip that. Saka at the moment, with 500 minutes more, is at 12 goals or assists. Alvarez has 11 with 400 more minutes played. Jared Bowen, who you mentioned, has 13 overall. My boy Rasmus has 1. But don't worry, he's unlucky. Darwin is a flop. Darwin, in the Premier League, has 6 assists, ranked 5th in the Premier League. Number 1 is Mo Salah with 8. Don't worry, Darwin Núñez is a flop. Overall, 30 games this season for not just the Premier League, just in the whole entire season, wherever cup you want to put it. 18 goals and assists, so combined. So in 30 games, in 18 of those, he has 18 goals and assists. He has started. He's been on the bench. He came in as a sub 10 of those times. For context, Martinelli and Gabriel Jesus have 17 overall this season, goals and assists. Rashford, Antony, Garnacho, Martial, 14. Richarlison and Kulusevski at 16. And I put Haaland in there just to give clarity. He's at 18, but he's missed a lot of the season now. And that's because goals. And then Son has 17, which mostly are goals. From last season, just to prove the stats are improving, in 2022 and 2023, he had 19 goals and assists for the whole entire year. Halfway through the season now, he's at 18 goals and assists. But Darwin Núñez is a flop. Don't worry. Darwin Núñez is a flop. That's all I'm going to say.
Jesus, this man has been up for the last 2 days straight.
Look,
The sad part is we can't put that in a TikTok. It's too long.
Look, I'm mad because
You don't say.
look, there's this narrative about Darwin Núñez being a flop for the X amount of money. And I understand. One, he needs to score more. There's no disagreement in that. However, if you watch the game today, he had 3 really good shots, great saves by the keeper. Sometimes it's luck. The past 4 games, I would say, I don't think he's messed up any shots of where you're like, oh my God, how are you missing this? Like, why would you it's just luck. Sometimes it just doesn't go in. However, stats are stats, and people love stats. So, is there anyone in here?
Well,
but
I feel like we're both in this somewhat. Do you think we're both Darwin Núñez haters?
No, this wasn't directed to you guys, but I'm on Twitter and all that.
You?
So, nonstop, I see all this. I don't know, like Darwin Núñez is a flop.
I think it comes to him missing so many chances.
Yes.
It's one of those things that, like, once it becomes a thing, it's hard to take it away.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's fading if you really think about it. Because last year, because everyone calls him a flop because of how he was last year and all the hype. And now, less and less people are talking about him like that.
Yeah.
Because he's actually doing much better.
I also think, too, it's unfair for him. Like, the unfair part for him is he came into Liverpool the same time that Haaland came into City. Yeah. And it was like, those were the 2 top teams at the time. And everyone is comparing him to what you get with Haaland. And they're not the same player. They're not even close to the same player. They do drastically different things for the team. But I will tell you, and I will give props to you. Man, I can't. I have to give you props in 2025. But Darwin does grow on me every single game I watch him play. I also think he's growing in confidence more and more.
Oh, yeah, he is.
And I think it's another testament to how good Klopp is as a manager, because he did not just throw him in there and start him consistently. Because I think he did at first and then realized, hey, this isn't working. I need to slowly get him confident. He needs to understand the language again, like understand English and get acclimated. And I think Klopp's doing a really good job with them, and he fits the style really well. But
and that's the thing. A lot of people say
Darwin Núñez is a flop.
Well, that too. But honestly, look, if Darwin Núñez can score 5% more of the of those chances that he's been missing or all the opportunities, he's going to be at like 7 to 8 goals, and nobody's batting an eye at this point.
It could change drastically, I think, if he scores a big goal for you. Like, if he scores a goal, like a great goal against City or against Arsenal or something between now and the end of the season, I think a lot of people might change their tune.
You had stats, right?
Yeah.
Then
Darwin too?
I didn't have stats. Eddie had stats.
Eddie.
So my boy Eddie sent me these stats because he loves listening to Georgie talk because he wants to see if Georgie's just bringing stats that help him or if they're they tell the right story. So anyway, shots per 90 minutes. Darwin Nunez is number 1 with 4.66. Haaland is number 2 with 4.033. So Darwin Nunez first, Erling Haaland, almost the same.
Yeah.
Just a little bit over 4. Misses, total big chances missed in this Premier League season. Darwin Nunez is number 1 with 18 and Erling Haaland 17. So I was thinking about that and I was like, well, how does that kind of make any sense? Because same amount of shots per 90, and same amount of misses, very, one off, 18 and 17, but way more goals for Haaland. And then I was like, well, yeah, because Haaland plays more games than Darwin Nunez, so that makes sense.
No, not this. Well, not for this season.
Just overall, yeah.
Well, minutes wise, maybe now. Maybe they're catching up.
But I'm saying, how else would that make How else would that make sense then? That Darwin
penalties.
But that counts as a shot.
Does it? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know this.
So the only way it makes sense is that Haaland has more goals is the fact that he's played a few more matches.
Minutes wise, we can.
Was the first one shots per 90 or total shots?
Shots per 90.
That's why. Because it's shots per 90.
Oh, well.
Haaland's just getting more shots in a game because he's playing longer. Yeah, I would be interested to see the difference in total shots.
More shots overall.
Yeah, just they have
Because
bigger bucket.
Same amount of shots per game, but because let's say Haaland plays 2 more games than Darwin Nunez, that's a lot more opportunities for him to score goals.
Or Darwin's also coming in half the time in the 55th to 65th minute, so he's only getting. If you really think about it, is that an advantage for Darwin? Probably.
Well,
he's an energetic player coming against tired legs.
The way I was thinking about it was like, so if Nunez gets as many games as Haaland, will he end up with the same stats as Haaland? Or will it eventually drop off for him? Because according to those stats, he would be on the same course as Erling Haaland.
Yeah, look, they both miss. I think the difference is the fact that Haaland scores, obviously, like the clinical chances that he gets. Mm-hmm. And I think he gets more in terms of, because shots is different than big chances missed. Like you can have a shot from outside the box or top of the box or like within around the box, whatever. That's not a big chance missed. A big chance missed is like a 1-on-1 or like
keeper,
an obvious
header,
whatever.
Tap in.
Where Haaland is, I feel like, more clinical because he gets more of those. Like Haaland is like a poacher within the box. Whenever like Bernardo Silva or Phil Foden is down the line, they cut it in and then he just scores. Darwin is more, he's going to be outside the box, trying to create a little bit more, and then he's going to try and get involved. He's not, I feel like Haaland is more of a poacher compared to Darwin Nunez.
For sure.
Like he's a better finisher in that sense. But,
All right. Well, I think that wraps up the Prem and EFL Cup and the Darwin Nunez fanfare segment.
The usual.
I guess we didn't touch. We did touch on Trent's injury, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
All right. So transitioning a little bit. What would it be? South. Yeah, a little bit south to Spain.
Actually, it wasn't even in Spain, was it?
Where was that? It was
The Supercopa was in Saudi Arabia.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Nice. I guess. Well, transitioning then what? East. And south still, I guess, a little bit. Real Madrid beat Atleti to advance to the final. And then Barcelona plays Osasuna when? Tomorrow?
Yep.
Friday or Saturday?
Tomorrow.
Well,
Today.
Today, technically, because, here we are at middle of the night again. You guys surprised Real Madrid? Or it's just, at this point, it's just expected?
I think they have a really good team, young team. Jude Bellingham, obviously, probably the best player in the world at this point. And, everything's just clicking. People
Great
coming back
coach,
from
winning
injuries.
pedigree. You have that great mix of young talent and, like, old vets. Just chugging along.
Stacked, man. They have so many good players on the Real Madrid.
They're fun to watch.
Yeah.
Fun to watch.
And did you see that That 17-year-old kid made his debut not too long ago. The other day,
Yeah,
he was playing.
good.
He was playing in this game. Did you see when he took the free kick away from Danny Ceballos?
Yeah,
It's kind of funny because it was his debut, right? This kid's 17 years old.
Who?
Arda Güler.
Oh, okay.
yeah. He's legit. He's legit.
He hits the post, by the way, on that free kick. But it's kind of funny because first game, and he takes the free kick away from Danny Ceballos.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like, here you go, kid, you can have it.
He took
Yeah,
it.
He was like,
he
give me the damn ball.
Good for him.
And it's kind of funny, though, because that kid is like, I know I'm only 17 and this is my debut, but you came from fucking Arsenal. so give me the damn ball, right?
Yeah.
And then he almost scored.
Yeah, and he had a good performance too. He was one of the players that throughout the whole game it was always dangerous, always getting in the ball. I was actually watching the game at where was that? At some store. Kelly we were shopping, and I had it on my phone. That's when we were messaging that we're gonna bet. Now we sound like we're freaking betting every game here, but
Don't you?
no.
We could have bet on that game.
Georgie's over here. He's got one phone to watch the game and one phone to place the bets as Kelly's walking around Lululemon.
But Georgie also looks at it as like it's a Supercopa de España. Like,
Yeah.
so is it a tournament that they really care about, or is it a tournament where they're just kind of like, doesn't really matter?
Especially with Ceballos playing. Like it's like
So that's what you always look at when they're like, so Real Madrid goes down early in the game. So you're thinking, oh, they're probably going to come back and win. But Real Madrid might even be like, we don't really care.
Different if it's a Copa del Rey final, Champions League match, or
Or a
La
league
Liga
league
game.
match, yeah.
that's why when it's cup games I try to
And the odds weren't great.
no
You didn't place any bets on Liverpool against Arsenal?
Liverpool.
in the FA Cup?
No, I didn't. I did
Okay.
not.
Barcelona just going to walk through Osasuna. We're going
think
to have
so.
an El Clasico final.
I did bet on that one, so I hope they win.
This guy's getting to the
For
point where
the
I
children
swear,
who watch our show, it is not a good thing in life to just bet on every sporting event you watch.
Georgie, listen.
No, I have a parlay. I've hit 5-team parlay. I've
Okay,
hit all
Georgie,
4.
this is my public service announcement. Kids to not bet. I don't need you to talk about how great it is and how much money you make and all these parlays you
He's
have.
the one
I was
making money.
talking. I was talking to you guys the other day or a few weeks ago about how like I had friends who were betting on like third division Brazilian league. This man was betting on a Jamaican league game and was mad that the team wasn't winning or whatever, that didn't come back.
The first place team was playing the second to last team, and they were down 1-0 until like the 70th.
Were you
minute.
watching the game?
No, I don't even know how I would be able to get that.
Well, that's what that was going to be my follow-up question. Where do you watch?
No, I didn't watch that one.
You just saw it on DraftKings or whatever. and you said,
Self-score. Yeah.
You're the man.
Yep, I love it.
You're the man.
Told you he's lost it.
He has. The real question is, did he ever have it?
I know. I found it.
Well,
I
that's the
didn't lose it. I
problem. That's the
found it.
problem because you can find a game on any day of the week.
At like
You
any
literally
time.
could.
Well, that's the good thing.
Good or
Again,
bad.
ladies and gentlemen, we do not condone spending your life savings on sports
No.
betting.
No, gamble responsibly.
Gamble responsibly. One thing that's not a gamble is the VAR sucking, but we're going to transition because there weren't any VAR things this week. Nothing crazy, right?
No,
Well,
nothing.
there's
crazy.
no VAR in the EFL Cup anyway. So
There you go. So, let's go to our VAR room segment then. Unfortunately, rest in peace. Franz Beckenbauer passed away at 78 years old.
legend.
Absolute legend.
Yeah, it's sad, and he did so much for the game in terms of. I mean, I didn't watch when he was in his
Playing.
prime, but from what I've read and like some of the highlights that I did see, he's looked at as he created that defensive spot. Like he was looked at as like the main, or he wasn't like the first obviously center back, but he was looked at as like the modern day center back to like when we look at players like Makelele, for example, starting their own role and like named after them and stuff. I read a bunch today that he was like looked at in that light of a center back and into the midfield and all that stuff. So it's legends of the game.
It is. I mean, we'll one day be there when people will be talking about the players that we watch now, like maybe a Van Dijk or whomever you want to call it. That it's hard for, I guess, how young we are when some of those legends die because we'd never had the opportunity to see them in
Like
their
grow
prime.
with them and like
Yeah,
all
and
that.
grow with them and watch them as they go. But he's one of those players that so many people have said so many good things. Like people that we have watched play that we respect. It's a sad thing, but
It is crazy how, like, he was before our generation, but it is crazy how nowadays I get to like my trainings, or I see younger kids, and I'm like, damn, you never had the opportunity to watch Pirlo play, or Vidic play, or some of these guys, and they're just like, yeah, not really. And I'm like, damn. So it's crazy because obviously you get older and we have a certain generation of players. There's actually there's a song called Zinedine Zidane. Have you guys heard it?
I love that song.
It's a great song.
It's a great song. And it lists all the players. It's just names of players. And
so it literally, the song is literally just them. It's naming players. And it doesn't have any lyrics other than just players. And it makes it rhyme with the players.
Yeah, it's great.
But
then the chorus is Zinedine Zidane.
Yeah, and the chorus is like, there's been so many good players, but the best of them all, Zinedine Zidane. And it just uses like all of the different players to rhyme with each other. But the cool part about that song is that it is literally all of the players from my generation.
Yeah.
Not a single one from like outside, not a single, like literally, it's got Chicharito in there. It's got like all of the best, all
like
of the
Kaká, Ronaldo, like Cristiano,
Pirlo,
like everybody.
Buffon.
It's crazy.
We got to listen to it.
We should.
But yeah, and so it's unlucky that we never got to see him play, but from the amount of players and people who say like that's one of their idols growing up, or that was like the best center back of all time in their opinion, things like that. Yeah, it's crazy.
It is. And those generations happen so fast. Like I was actually talking to it's really cool. So my nephews now are 8 and 6, and they're really getting into football, which is awesome. All they wanted for Christmas this year, all they wanted were Messi and Mbappe jerseys. One of them got a full Messi kit, and one of them got a full Mbappe kit. And since it was warm this year and Christmas, both playing football out, like they sent us videos because they live on the west side of the state playing. And I remember when I talked to them when they came to this side, I'm like, hey, do you guys know like Zidane and Thierry Henry? Because like those are like my favorite players. And like it's like I explained how to build a rocket ship to them.
Yeah.
They looked at me like those names don't even make any sense. And it is kind of sad.
How crazy is it? Like most people now are still know about Ronaldo and Messi, which were the two most dominant players in our generation, but only because they lasted so damn long.
Yeah.
Like Ronaldo's lasted so damn long.
Yep.
But how crazy is it?
In 5 years.
No, like now, in 5 years that people won't know them as well, right?
Yep.
But how crazy is it that the original Ronaldo, now people are like, don't really know.
Yeah.
Other than they're like, yeah, I know he was good because everybody talks about him, but I never got to see him. Or Ronaldinho.
That's insane.
Like, can
That's
you
sad.
try explaining to a kid the way that Ronaldinho made you feel when he used to dribble?
It's crazy.
And they won't ever get that feeling, or I mean, they might with a different player, but they were never able to experience it.
Yeah.
Especially though, I guess Ronaldinho is a good one to bring up because he was so
Different.
Like who? Find me another player who plays like Ronaldinho.
Yeah, you can't.
Exactly.
I think it was literally he's one of the only players that's like one in a lifetime where you would never find somebody like.
That's the thing that I say is like people are like, well, was he as good as Messi? And it's like, no. Messi's going to be better. Messi's always going to be better than Ronaldinho, or what in terms of like who's the GOAT. It's always going to be Messi. But Ronaldinho made you feel a certain way when he played that nobody else has ever made you feel.
He was.
So,
we could go for days about that.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the one podcast we'll all just reminisce about and tell stories and where we were when we watched this and when we did that. But another legend of the game suggesting something, and the stats that he had to back it up I thought were pretty good. I don't know if you have them or anyone saw them, but Buffon suggests increasing the goal size. I thought about our last segment when we talked about change something about the game that like wouldn't change something but the kind of would. And I thought about this. What do you think? As I can tell by your face, it looks like you're like, what are you thinking?
It's a lot easier to say now. Like he's done, so he's not gonna have to deal with that. But it's like, why would you change it? Like what? I mean, I didn't even look it up, but I saw the quote. I don't know his reasoning, but as soon as I saw the quote, I was like, this is another Arsene Wenger type of thing that you want to just change just to change.
Yeah, he said like basically the goal size has been the same for 50, 60 years or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It's harder to score now because people are taller, people are stronger, defenses are better. So like the overall amount of goals now versus back in the day has decreased.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes sense from that argument. Whereas like think about it. If you changed it in a way that instead of having an average of, let's say, 2 goals a game, now you have an average of 4 goals a game.
I guarantee no goalkeeper's gonna say yeah to that.
Of course, no goalkeeper's gonna say that. It's not a terrible argument. It makes sense. You're not. It's not like saying, okay, let's make each goal worth 5 points now, like football, like American football. It kind of makes sense, but it is kind of comical at the same time, because when you look at the comment section, one guy was like, "That's one way to preserve your records."
I mean, that's literally it. Like,
so if it would have came from somebody else's mouth, it makes sense. Center midfielder.
I mean, you could make the argument on the flip side of it. You just want to, like...
I'm just saying, it's just like funny that it comes directly from the guy
who holds it,
who holds records that now it won't affect them, but it affects everybody else.
The stats that I saw, I think it said something around like back when the laws originally came in like the first, let's say 10 or 15 years or whatever, it was like an average of every 10 here it is. 30 years ago, there were 10 goals for every 50 shots. Today, there are 3 out of every 50. So that what he's saying is that like when it was originally put in place and what the viewers get from the game now compared to then isn't the same, which I can see it from that standpoint.
From what, 30 years ago?
I don't know if this is actually like legit. I just pulled this up on Reddit, but it kind of gives the idea. So don't take the numbers as gospel, because this is on Reddit. But yeah, 30 years ago there were 10 goals for every 50
30 years
shots.
ago, nobody defended it. So,
but again, those are things that's how they change the laws, right? When they look at the course of history, how things change, they have to make adjustments along with it. Yeah. Whereas like before, again, we talked about the pass back rule. That used to not be a problem, and then it became a problem, and so they changed it. The goals. Before, they used to score a lot more goals, so it was never a problem. The goals were the right size. But now, let's say in the next 20 years, that goes down to every 2 of 50 shots goes in. Now they're going to be like, well, it's a problem because now nobody's scoring goals. Or now every game, or every one out of every 2 games is 0-0. Now you're talking about an actual problem that needs to be changed.
Because, like, I guess the thing is, I know it's like a lot of these things at first they sound crazy, but as the game evolves, like at the end of the day, sport is for entertainment. That if the entertainment value is going down and viewership's going down, things of that nature, you want to get ahead of it, because if you don't change, I think you can become what baseball is in America now, which nobody watches baseball compared to what it was 10, 15 years ago. And they could have changed a lot of the rules a lot sooner, like the shot clock and things, and they didn't, and to like speed the games up. Now they're doing it, but I think it's too late, and I think it's a sport that will sadly over time die. I actually hate baseball, so I don't think it's that sad. But
I mean, I don't see it as a problem now, though. Like,
no, not yet, maybe.
But you want to get ahead of it before it is a problem, I guess, is kind of what I'm saying. Because if it ever gets to the point where people are talking about it, that means there's millions of people across the world that aren't watching it now, or are watching it less. But on the flip side of that, you could argue that the most exciting World Cup final of all time is the most recent one.
Yeah.
So is the game
we just
actually
watched Real Madrid, let's go 5-3, Liverpool, Fulham 2-1.
Yeah. That 5-3 game though, there were some absolute disaster goals.
There were
I don't think it's a problem now, but it does make sense if you look at the trends over history, right? Like it makes sense if you're looking at that. But here's the other thing, though. People think that it's got to be a crazy change. Literally, it could be a matter of a couple of inches.
You add 6 inches to each side and make them go, 2-3 inches taller? Not much changes there, but a lot of goals that don't go in now go in. And it would almost be like you wouldn't even be able to notice it to the naked eye.
Yeah, you wouldn't be able to notice it. The keepers would definitely notice it, and that sucks. But, like, we're talking about shots. Okay, I mean, I don't know the stats, but are we not scoring because the shots are just shit in terms of they're not even hitting the target or going over or not even near the goal? Or are they scoring because the goalkeepers are actually saving them a lot more than usual?
Well, I think it's a mixture of both. I mean, just look at goalkeepers now compared to 15 years ago. Back when Peter Cech and Van der Sar were so good because they were so big. And now are they that big compared to the goalkeepers that are playing? Does a Donnarumma, like from a height standpoint, how tall is Van der Sar, would you say?
I think they were pretty tall. Like Peter Cech's pretty tall.
Yeah, Peter Cech's tall.
But
That's pretty tall.
it's not necessarily the height as much as it is like weight training now is a big thing. Whereas before, like Van der Sar was not in the gym like some of these other guys are.
Correct.
The agility factor, they're a little bit more explosive now than they used to be. Because of all the training and because of the nutrition and all that stuff, they've gotten better. So it's harder for you to score on them. So over time, yeah, that's obviously changed a little bit. I don't think it needs to be a drastic change, but in the next 10 years, I wouldn't mind seeing a change of a couple of inches to each side of to the goal or to the height.
I don't think it takes away from much of the game. It's a change that you can easily implement that would positively impact, and there would be little downside. So I'm not too opposed to it as long as it's not crazy.
For all we know, they probably do it right now anyway. Nobody's going to know.
Yeah.
But it's the same thing in basketball. People are saying that they should move the three-point line a little bit further back because it's a lot easier to score three-pointers now. Not easier, but players are so much better than they used to be.
Thank you,
Like Steph Curry.
Steph
Literally.
literally changed the game.
Single person.
Yeah. Which, hey, that's when you know you're one of the all-time greats. You can they change rules because it's unfair because of what you've created for the game. So you're no, I'm yeah, and you're yeah.
I'm not.
I'm yeah.
Definitely.
I'm yeah in
not
the future.
now.
I'm yeah in the future.
Fair. And then what do we have? We have we're running out of time here. Only a few segments left, Georgie. We'll go to we got two left. Wild card segment or fun facts. What do you want first?
Give me the wild card.
The wild card.
he's
You want to read your stat here?
Wild card segment is really a fun fact,
No. Okay.
So I guess we got all right.
Two
There we
fun
go.
facts.
but it creates conversation.
69% of players in the Premier League are foreigners.
All the man buns.
But the reason why I say it creates conversation is because of this. Clearly, way more than half of your players in this league are not English players or British players. So we talk about how it's the best league in the world, and that's partly it, right? Probably because of that. But also, we talk about why England should be the best team in the world, the best nation in the world. But when you look at that stat, it proves you different.
Yeah. Does it though? Because I mean, if you look at the England squad,
All you need is one really good player in each team.
yeah, most of those players, I think, would get time or start on most national teams. Like I'm trying to think what English starters wouldn't start on, let's say France or Argentina.
Oh, France. I mean, that's a tough one.
France is a tough one. Saka probably would not. He might though, I guess, because he plays on the right. Who else from an English standpoint? Would Bellingham start? Probably.
Yeah.
Harry Kane? Trent?
Over Giroud.
Yeah, but
I don't know.
it's just interesting because I didn't realize that the number was so high.
I didn't realize it was so high either.
So when you think about it like that,
What was the rule for? I know there's a rule. Is it 7?
You have to have a certain amount of,
Yeah, 7 or 13 or
native
something. I don't
players,
know.
I don't know the number, but there is a number.
Because that's what they're trying to do, right? Like keep an English base so you can develop those players coming from whatever.
The real question is, do you think that is like, to that rule point, do you think 69% is really like the highest it can go? Like, are there any, like, how many teams in England are rostering more than the minimum of the domestic players? I guess I would be interested to see that.
Yeah, we got to look that up for the next one. It's interesting.
I just thought like we were always talking about England. They keep talking about it's the best league in the world. They should be the best national team. They have all the players. But I don't know.
Are you looking it up right now?
I'm looking at La Liga because I'm actually very curious how many foreign players are in La Liga.
I would assume it's way less.
That's what I'm thinking because I feel like most of them are Spanish.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Every team must have X amount of English players. And X amount of English players registered.
Yeah, it's got to be a third.
I think it's 7. If I'm not wrong, it's 7.
would make sense because 22 on the roster officially or whatever.
The Premier League has a homegrown player rule that mandates each club to have a minimum of 8 homegrown players out of 25 players. This means that 32% of the players in the club squad must be homegrown. AKA, the league is literally at its max
Of foreign players.
of foreign players, and each team's probably carrying the minimum.
Yeah, I'm sure some have a lot
Like
more
one
than
or two,
others, but-
yeah, but across the league, it's
What's crazy is
that is wild.
I don't know if they can do it in England, but in the United States, you can sell those spots to other teams. Did you know that?
I didn't.
Interesting.
That was the same thing at DCFC. Even in NISA, we had a certain amount of, remember those international players or whatever? And if you wanted, you could buy an international spot from another team.
If you wanted to spend the money, interesting. Last and certainly not least, the one and only Javi has 2 different fun facts for us.
No, just one.
Just one.
But it has 2 in it.
It does have a 2 in it.
2.
Does that make sense?
Do you know what 2? Do you know what 2 is? Do you know what 2 is?
A number.
Exactly.
Haha.
The number.
Do you know? Never mind. It'll be in a log topic I'll talk about the podcast.
The number of days Cristiano Ronaldo had owned his $300,000 Ferrari 59 GTB before he crashed it. It's in my book. It's in my book.
Are you kidding me? That's in the book?
It's in my book. Well, it was a money page. And it said it in there. 2 days how long he had the car before he crashed it.
Wow.
Wow. I didn't see.
Craziest part about it all.
Did he crash it like crazy?
That's like if you just lost. That's like if one of us just lost a $100 bill.
Yeah.
Oh, for how much it's worth, like actually worth to him?
Yeah.
It's like, fuck, I had a $100 bill and I lost it somewhere. Fuck. Like you'd be like, fuck. But I'll be all right.
He doesn't strike me as someone who would drive cars fast enough. Not like, I don't want to say he doesn't drive cars fast, but he doesn't seem like somebody who would risk his own safety driving really fast. I'm surprised.
No,
to hear that.
somebody must have crashed into it.
Yeah.
Or fender bender or something like that. But
Yeah, could be minor. Well,
Wow.
2 days. Now, can you imagine somebody? I mean, here's the thing: if you're buying a Ferrari, you probably have a lot more money. You're not buying a Ferrari like, can I afford a Ferrari? Can I not afford a Ferrari?
let me take out of my
Right.
401k.
Just because those cars, even the maintenance is going to be even more expensive than the damn car. But can you imagine if you had a car like that and you worked so hard to get it, and then you crash it 2 days later?
That would be the worst one.
I actually never realized until I was in college that how much more it was for foreign cars for maintenance. I didn't realize that. One of my teammates,
crazy.
he had an Audi, and I went with him one time to get an oil change. Like, that'd be $180. I was like, you pay $180 every time you get your oil changed? He's like, yeah, man, foreign cars. I'm like, never knew. But all right, well, that is that, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much. Throw it in the comments how much more you like me as the host than our good friend Javi. Please, please, please. Hopefully they invite me back. But we're how many episodes in now? 32, I think, right?
Somewhere around 32, I think.
32, 33.
Yeah.
Closing in on 100. We'll be there just like that.
We're almost a third of the way.
Almost. Your math is getting good.
Almost.
Almost there. Almost there. But please follow us on all social media, the Instagram, the TikTok, YouTube. Javi's doing the points for us. I very much appreciate it. Where else? Spotify, Apple Podcasts.
Yeah.
If you could like and subscribe when you do it, it would be greatly appreciated. The algorithm likes that. And, that as a statistics guy, that will help the statistics. So please like, subscribe, comment on how much you like Georgie's hair, if you like the lighting with his face, things of that nature. But besides that, Happy New Year, everybody, and
Peace.
have a great day.